secret. You know, it's me down.
325, we're here. Hey,
All right.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy. This is definitely something different. We're just gonna test it out just because I've been wanting to get some different types of media out there for you guys to kind of consume and enjoy. I'm here with my very special guest and good cousin, Bolo Strikes Back, or Bolo Hits Back. I'm sorry, I stepped on your moniker the first
No,
time.
Strikes is good.
I do like Strikes, but that's not you.
But well, I mean, it's based off.
You'd be a fraud, sir. You'd be a fraud.
Well, you know, my thing has a thing, but it's always you have to explain the thing, and if you have to explain it, it kind of loses this thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
We all
it's
know.
a riddle.
We all know the analogy of nothing. So let's move on. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming check us out. This is the podcast of Titans. I don't know if you guys seen it. I kind of went like I was thinking, you know, maybe my face should be in this, but I was like, fuck that. No one needs to see my face.
Nobody needs to see your face.
No one needs to see my face. But we're gonna have my screen out here, so don't mind all this stuff in the background. We're gonna be talking about Titans. If you don't know, it's in the DC streaming stuff, new
streaming
channel.
app. It's called DC Universe is the technical name.
Yeah, and honestly, me and Bolo's been like, we're just a little backstory. We're not gonna go deep into it just because for this. We're both very heavily into comics. We've lived together. We've bought comics and cannibalized over them story-wise over and over again.
Well, let's say let's split the conversation sort of in two. Is that if you haven't got the DC universe, we're going to shamelessly plug this because it's probably the best deal that you're going to be able to find for comics. I mean, you get access to a pretty substantial library of theirs. So all those issues that you ever wanted to buy, but you're like, I can't spend $300 on comics, you know, a month. And even if you do, you know, you have limited space to put said comics.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a great app, and
you guys already seen my my tables back here and shit, like with all the comics. It gets kind of ridiculous with that, but like honestly, I mean, I don't know if I could do this in this video and not get copyright striked or anything like that. So we're not gonna go deep into the app, but I'm at the app right now. I'm just gonna show you like the amount of episodes. It's up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's coming up on the 7th episode. I didn't even notice that there was some down here, and that's kind of crazy. Not I've watched this.
10 to 13, I think.
I don't know. What do you want to What do you want to get in first? Overall, because I want to cut this. I don't want to make this a crazy, like, belligerent rant for like a long time. I want to try to at least get to where we could just go like, okay, here's here. So do you want to talk about this episode tonight?
Let's do the overall, and then we'll talk about that.
I don't know if I can contain myself until the episode tonight because it's a flurry of emotions. It's a flurry of emotions. I don't know what else to say. It's furious. But,
I did scream out myself, but let's give it
okay, fine. Let's get into it. Now, for me personally, coming into this, like I know the canonical history. If I could actually, I can't get my webcam to work properly because I would show you. I have a lot of Titans comics, so when I come into this, I know there's myriad different variations of the team, but. I can't say this is any team I really recognize.
Well, I mean, the character names are sort of the original sort of Teen Titans in terms of, you know, you're going to have Mad Robin, Beast Boy, Starfire, and Raven.
Yeah, but everyone knows that that's not even the real, like, start of the Teen Titans. You know, the Teen Titans were, like, Robin, Aqualad, and Speedy and shit.
I mean, it's the new.
Like, where are those two assholes?
Well, I mean, I guess.
Well, knowing this show,
it's a show.
Knowing this show, he'd probably be like a fucking
Well, no, I mean, like
rocker.
Well, I mean, who knows? Because like
the
show. the show is structured very oddly. I mean, it's basically a network television show, but it's a show that vigilantes, but the world doesn't seem to know anything about superpowers yet.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of weird to me.
It's very strange.
You brought it up to me like the first kind of times we were watching it about that, like in terms of just the people's reactions to certain things, particularly like Robin in general throughout this whole thing.
I mean, Robin's reaction to Raven and Robin's reaction to Starfire is very much like he's never seen magic or superpowers before. Okay. So I mean, which is really, really weird, especially because Dick Grayson's arc, it seems to be this season, is him turning from Robin into Nightwing, but Nightwing is like a Kryptonian hero, from Superman lore. Yeah. So it's kind of like, not necessarily that it's required.
You're
but
right, and it's Nightwing and like Firehawk or something, right?
Yeah. So like, I mean, like the thing is like, and I think one of the things they're sort of messing up with the character is that, Dick Grayson is, probably the most emotionally stable, popular hero that there is. He's the one guy everybody can kind of go to and literally just like have a conversation about anything. And they're making him into this dark, brooding, violent sociopath, for lack of a better word, and I kind of get it where, they're trying to bring into this, this world of, oh, well, he's, it's essentially the Dark Knight.
Yeah, and I thought that was like a really good analogy you put in last time about that. Like, it's like the Dark Knight, basically, in the Dark Knight universe. It feels like very close to Dark Knight or was it the Batman v Superman universe?
Yeah, exactly. I would say this is, I mean, because the cinematography is essentially the same, and overall, like the production of the show, the cinematography is good. They spent a pretty penny on the music choices.
Yeah, I thought that the music choices were pretty good.
I mean, it doesn't always fit, but they're good songs. But like, it's just kind of like this kind of doesn't work for. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do, but it.
Honestly, I think that's the biggest pull away. I mean, I don't know if you want to go just down like some of the little things about like the episode specifically, because honestly, the first 3 were kind of like a blur to me, and like even when I went back and watched some of them, it's still like what?
Well, watching it because I didn't get a chance to rewatch all of them, but I rewatched the first episode tonight, and.
Yeah, and
like to be honest, I think the writers' room, whoever is in charge of the writers' room and keeping track of kind of what the overall story is, not doing a good job. Because like one thing I noticed today,
that's what I'm saying, like a blur almost. It's like what?
Like check this out, because like when we first meet Starfire, she's passed out in that car, right? Yeah. Episode 1, she wakes up, she's been in a car accident, the driver's dead. And it's like, okay, what's going on? She doesn't know who she is. She goes back to that hotel and she's speaking like
I think it was like
German
or Belgium.
Yeah, she's speaking German. Yeah,
we'll go with German.
And she finds the key with the frog on it.
Yeah.
Watching later, turns out that it's a key to a locker room in I think the hometown of Rachel, and within that locker room, it opens a storage fucking shed or whatever, with like her detective skills of her tracking Rachel.
You're right.
What's weird is that in the first episode, the guy who she tied up and snapped his neck, which is, watching it a second time, it feels worse.
Yeah, it feels really like it's jarring.
Yeah, and I got a way to get my brain around it, but I want to
I
get
don't
through this
see.
first.
Honestly,
But hold on,
go
wait.
ahead, go get through
Let
it,
me
get through it,
finish.
get through it.
So her whole thing is that she's doing this whole thing in Vienna with these Russians to find Rachel, but
Okay.
she was in Rachel's hometown and was like a mile away, but she went to fucking Vienna to find out where she was. And like, I mean, because she goes to the guy.
I didn't even
and
notice that.
She's just like, okay, who am I? And he's like, I don't know, who are you? Like, who are you? And she's like, well, you're that dude's girlfriend. And so he's like, you're searching for the girl. Like, that's why you came here. You search for the girl. It's like,
What?
wait, what? Exactly. So I think the structure of their story is deeply flawed, in terms of character motivation, in terms of the story they kind of wanted to tell. Because, like I said before, like the way they set it up with Dick being essentially a sociopath who's trying to deal with his emotions with
yeah, and see,
Starfire.
I think that's honestly, like, if we can go into that for like a little bit, just like
Yeah.
kind of how they introduce like Dick Grayson, because honestly for me it's kind of jarring, because I mean I go back to what you said, because I reference it all the time when I talk about people. Like, Dick is the most likable guy around. Like, everyone likes Dick. Everyone likes Dick because he's a likable guy.
Everybody likes Dick.
Everyone likes Dick. Hey, it's Dick. Everyone loves Dick. Call me Richard. No, fuck that. You're Dick. It's like,
everybody loves that Dick.
Exactly. And we can't get in trouble because it's fucking a person's name. But anyway, like, you don't get that from this.
Well, yeah, like they're trying to essentially bring the emotional flawedness of the Christopher Nolan movies and sort of the hyper violence of Batman and mix it into this stew for the show.
Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of agree with you on that.
And like it like even Dick Grayson's initial introduction, you see all those criminals and like the drug deals going down. He swoops in and like he murders them.
Yeah, but even like honestly, for that scene, like the kind of hype it was getting on the net about like all the oh fuck Batman stuff, like that for that scene to go, like, even that, like, I was kind of happy about that, because that scene where he's like fuck Batman, like, that part didn't really.
Yeah, the context is different.
It didn't sting like that.
So what the talk was, the context of the scene is different, but
yeah,
what's weird about the scene and looking at the character and motivations that they've set up for it. So like he kills like 3 dudes, right? Like straight up, like he stabs a motherfucker in the neck with like a slide of a gun. Like
he absolutely
like that dude is dead. And I think he snapped a couple necks. He shoots a couple of dudes.
Yeah, he absolutely does.
And
this is worse than anything Batman's ever done in any.
But no, this is the weird thing. The weirdest thing is that he finds the guy he's looking for, drags him out of his car, like literally, like breaks his window and then like smears his face on the broken glass.
Yeah,
and then,
he
like,
does.
Essentially, Rodney Kings him. But he's just like, yo, if you ever touch
your little girl again,
I'm gonna find you. It's like, wait.
This is not a little girl.
Not to belittle like either some assault or abuse or whatever. I'm not saying that.
No, he definitely deserves to get his ass handed to him.
I'm not, but like it's just like, wait, like you don't like the drug deal is you're cool with, and
he's
like
okay with the drug deals. That happens all the time. But
what's weird is that, like, all right, so at this point, what you find out is that we're in Detroit. Feelings. Well, no, we're in Detroit, so. Dick Grayson left Gotham City, says, I'm done with being Robin. I'm assuming that this is a case that he's working on, and
yeah.
Instead, I mean, because they don't. I mean, he's literally like a cop for like 5 minutes, and then he just like leaves his job, which is great.
That's what honestly, when the overall feeling I have for the show is just kind of icky. Like I know it's like a stupid word to use, but it feels
horribly. It's to be kind would be to say that it's cynical, but I honestly don't think it understands
cynicism.
Superheroes, superheroes and superhero storylines. And I've read a lot of articles saying people said the same thing about the Zack Snyder stuff. I would disagree. Where Zack Snyder changed some very specific things about the superhero genre and specifically DC to tell a specific story and get a very specific tone, not necessarily with the violence or anything like that, but with the cynicalness of modern society. That was kind of the whole point. The show doesn't really
first, like Batman v Superman.
Well, yeah, Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. Like that's these classic heroes, with a modern cynical culture take.
Yeah.
Kind of
like if Batman was brought up today, or if Superman.
Well, I mean, it's Batman brought up post Vietnam, post Nixon, post a lot of the modern politics. It's that lens. That's the whole DC with that lens. This show doesn't really have that overall vision, but they're trying to use that same sort of nihilism, and it's not superheroes. These are action heroes in costume. Because like if you're looking at the stuff they're doing, it's nothing worse than any sort of action movie that you see in a movie.
Well, think about it in terms of just like who they have and what they've chosen to do. And honestly, when we move on to the later episodes, I guess we could talk about it more. But like, I don't know. Honestly, I'd like to just skip over Hawk and Dove as an episode completely. I felt that episode was just bad
at this
and a
point,
waste of time.
I wouldn't say it was bad because that episode, to be honest, I was happy with the costume designs were great because they were Hawk and Dove.
Yeah, and it was unapologetically Hawk and Dove, which you're right, I did like that.
And I appreciated the dynamics of the characters that they wrote. I mean, out of everybody,
I didn't like Hawk. He was just a abrasive asshole.
Yeah, but that's kind of the character, though.
Yeah. I mean, you figure which one do you think this is? Probably like the second incarnation of Hawk.
Probably, I think so.
He was more like the meatheady kind of guy.
I mean, there's a shitload of them.
I know they always fucking die, so it's like
which is great. So that's why I mean, like, kind of what they did on one point, I don't mind, but at the same time, they didn't know how to use those characters and how to get the most real effect out of them. Because like, as soon as you're introduced to them, they're gone, and essentially, you can cut. You can cut that episode out, and it changes nothing on the story.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
that's a problem.
See, when I think of the episode, I think the abrasiveness of Hawk, and just like the story, and I mean, it does introduce the family. That's the first introduction of the Ma and Pa, and
again, like but it doesn't. Like they could be introduced at any point. It's not like they're like the Hawk and Dove are integral to that.
Well, how else would Hawk and Dove die if it wasn't for a fucking psychopathic family?
Well, to me, it's like, okay, why would you introduce a character just to kill him off in that same episode? Specifically, when these are supposed to be characters with like history, and you are literally just setting up the show, and the show is not a procedural. That's like, okay, every episode is going to be a mini adventure, and they're going to meet new people. We may or may not never see again. This is a whole sort of free storyline.
Goodbye. I'll never see you again.
Yeah, like that. This is not the case. So
too bad I can't be on the team always. Episode ends. Next time you see him, no one brings him up again.
I mean,
you gotta love those episodes.
Say what you will about procedurals, but procedurals are great. because they have a formula. There's a lot. I mean, Supernatural is all I'm going to say is that that's a procedural. Almost how every single episode is going to end, but it's a fun fucking ride because the characters have so much freedom to do the weirdest shit in that series.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I love Supernatural, but yeah.
Anyway, so the show, Hawk and Dove, which I liked, but it was absolutely pointless and had no bearing on anything.
I mean, I liked for it's kind of the family. I did like that they're like they almost like, and that's the thing, like no one else is around, no one is like making them do this, no one's watching them, and they're still playing out this role as like a family. And the thing,
what they sort of hint at is that I guess just to explain to people who haven't watched it, there's mom, pa, and brother and sister, and they're pretty much like Leave It to Beaver, but evil and like assassins. But
you wouldn't even tell. Like you can't even. You don't even find that out until later because it's just like.
But it's weird because. Okay, they don't necessarily have any superpowers, but like they take these syringes, but they don't really explain why they have to take the syringes or what effect the syringes have. It's not like they get super strong or super fast, or they can grow up.
I don't know. Like they took damage basically.
I mean,
because remember later on they did take on Starfire. They took on Starfire and she beat them pretty much with like objects. And then they got up like the Undertaker and shit.
Well, I guess you got a point. Like
they went straight up like the Undertaker. Like
somebody did get like a Robin Star in the head, and they were like, okay.
Yeah, the mom got it, and she just pulled it out like, boop, okay. And it's like, I want to say it's like if you guys out there haven't seen Young Justice, which is another thing you can only really get from this DC Universe thing. Let me put it this way, I am not associated with DC. I am putting the logo out of my screen, even though there's a big logo over there. So fuck it. I guess we're in for a penny, we're in for a pound. But I do really like the what they're gonna be doing. They're gonna do Swamp Thing and the Young Justice season 3. But if you didn't see Young Justice, they had a serum in there called Blockbuster, which was like a mixer of it's
Venom. It's essentially roided up Venom.
Roided up Bane's Venom. And like they injected it into this one dude, and he got crazy, like a giant arm and like crazy ripped up. He looks like the dude from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
He looks like Mr. Hyde. So I mean, I was suspecting it was something like that, but like they definitely didn't roid out or anything like that. So it might be like a TV version of the Blockbuster serum.
Maybe. I mean, to me, it's if that's the case, then that's disappointing.
Either that or like, because now I'm thinking about it, in multiple times in different episodes, they do like go, oh, it's time for the medicine, and it's like actual vials that say mom, dad, sister, brother.
And that's what I'm saying. Like
that they have to take it for something, like to get ready to do something, like to
they
assassinate.
They never. There's no payoff. Like their heads explode.
Yeah, well, I mean that's later on, and yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying at this point, like those characters are dead. Like, literally, they have bombs in their head, and I guess they got caught, and the middle manager mastermind pressed the button, and their head blew up.
He plays a pretty strong role. I'm not gonna lie. His demeanor when he talks is fucking like off-putting. I'm not gonna lie.
He has presence, but like to me again, it's like okay, like the way they're trying to set up the mystery. They're learning the wrong lessons from sort of modern TV, and that's like like watching the episodes, you could see, okay, they stole this shot from Breaking Bad. They stole this setup from Westworld.
Really?
Yeah, like for example, Starfire's introduction.
Yeah.
That's kind of how, that's kind of how an episode of Breaking Bad will start, where it's like,
Really?
yeah, like Breaking Bad
Grand Theft Auto 5 and shit. You wake up like Trevor, half naked in the desert with a boot on.
No, in terms of like, they will give you like pieces of a puzzle, and you kind of have to clue it together, and then they'll kind of bring you onto it. But like,
I've never watched Breaking Bad.
I would highly suggest it. It's actually a really good show. But they you can kind of see how they're constructing it, but I honestly don't think they understand what's unique specifically about the DC world and the DC heroes, and what really makes them work. I mean, like I said, I think these are action heroes, and they're trying to use the motivations of a regular action hero of just, okay, they just have to be badass and cool. Where the thing about DC heroes is that essentially all of them are Captain America, where they're doing the right thing. Well, most of them are, even the ones that are.
Particularly the one in the like the Arkhamverse. That's why I just start calling shit just in Batman's world. His is like the biggest world, I feel, and it's like it always encompasses every like character at one point or another. So it's like, yeah.
Well, I just mean in terms of like they do things because it's the right thing to do. That's kind of their motivation. And villains do things because
it's the bad thing to do.
Almost, it's the bad thing, but it's more like
their personal greed.
Yeah, like I have the power, right? Yeah, I have the power to do it, and who's gonna stop me?
I have a gun and I shot a man, and I don't care, and I don't feel sorry about it.
Brother Muncie,
Sergeant Muncie.
Benedict is one of the best villains ever.
Yo, that's Tywin Lannister.
It is. No, that actor's great. I can't remember his real name.
That dude is fucking crucial.
I
have no idea about his name. I never knew his name, and I'm not gonna pretend like I know it now. But back to it. What you like? Honestly, we've already said enough about Hawk and Dove. So Origins, really, I don't know. It's just when like Rachel meets up with Corey, who like I don't know. In episode 3, we'll kind of get introduced to Starfire. And honestly, when I see her in these episodes, I'm trying to say like, okay, so what happens when she finds out who the fuck she is? She's just gonna like get up and fly the fuck away?
Well,
or like, she's a fucking alien who has laser beam eyes and can fly around. If she's not that at the end of this, I don't know what the fuck I've been here for.
Well, I mean, it not just that, but just even fucking Raven, like. I mean, they set up this mystery that the characters don't know, but the audience does.
We know. I know. I know who our father is.
I guess people who never seen or know anything about Teen Titans.
Yeah, but think about that. You'd have to actually go out, pay to get the DC universe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think
watch this and go, I have no idea what I've gotten myself into.
I mean, well, it's you literally it's like
I wouldn't know the person who does that.
This is. I mean, it's not an app that they stumble into, and then not to mention there's so much content on the thing that
you probably click at the first thing you fucking saw rather than dig in to find like the episode of the Titans.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's just so much to dig into, and like for me personally, like on the small scale, I mean, even on the big scale, doing a really good Teen Titans would be difficult, but to do it on a smaller scale, it's like, is it good? Yeah, yo, Jonathan Kim, what's going on, bro? Yeah, nah, it's to be good, I don't know, then.
Would I say Is it good? I would say the fight scenes are good. Like the martial art choreography is pretty good.
I would say that it's pretty good in terms of this like it's definitely I don't know. It's definitely in like the dark universe. I would definitely say it's an Elseworld Tale, dark universe. Like it would be if you'd say where could I fit this in? It'd be Batman v Superman kind of world. It's very kind of darkish, kind of brutish, but like I don't know. It hits on certain notes to me. The first feelings I got from it is just like, ugh, like what do I see? Like, cause it does go. From the first episode, it definitely goes, yo, listen, this is not going to be, like, you know, an average, like, yeah, oh, gee, you know, let's lock him up. Like, he kills, like, Nightwing, Robin, he just kills people in the first episode. And
well, everybody kills people.
Yeah, and his whole demeanor is, like, not what you would get from, like, a Robin, I would expect. You know what I mean? Yeah, dark and edgy, kind of, but, like, you don't expect to see that from, like, Robin. Like, this is Robin Dick Grayson. Like we said it earlier on, he's, like, the light of the party. He's, like, the guy. Like, literally, when he becomes Batman, and he's, like, Batman, and he's smiling to, like, somebody, in the comics, I mean, and he's, like, smiling, and he's, like oh, shit, like, Batman's smiling, I can't take it. He's like, oh, yeah, but it's Dick. We know, so it's okay, because everyone likes him regardless, but, like, this one's very, like, he almost feels like a Bruce Wayne, like a dark Bruce Wayne.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it's the show is cruel.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, but seriously, like, I mean, like even in the choreography, like, the stuff they're doing, like, if you saw this in... Yeah, like, if you saw this in a movie and it's just a regular action movie, you'd be like, oh, damn, this dude is fucking crushing people. It's crazy. But, like, you know, the way... At least for me, like, the way I always sort of interpreted, especially the Bat family, is that, like, you know, oh, they'll wreck your shit. And they'll break your arm. And they'll fuck you up. But, like...
That's leave you breathing.
But, like, they'll still leave you breathing, and they're not gonna, like, hurt you just to hurt you. I mean, fuck, in the movie Red Hood, when Jason Todd, like, breaks that dude's collarbone, Batman's like, yo, yo, dude, what the fuck, B? Like, he's in shock now, you asshole. We need to talk to him.
Now we gotta stay here and take care of him. I was just gonna knock him out and make him lose all of his teeth. That's
exactly.
You
can still talk.
And not only that, but Batman and them don't care about their fucking medical bills. They want to give medical bills. So they're like, I mean, that's fuck just, you.
Like, and to me, it's like, no, they're like they're good enough that they don't have to kill you. Like, that's the thing.
They're good enough to beat you up, but not enough to kill you. Like, they're all good, except for some of them. Like, that's... And honestly, like, when we get to it, like, when we talk about, like, Jason Todd, the episode tonight, which is, like, exploding my brain when I think about it. Because it's just...
well, you know what? Let's just get into it now.
Let's keep going. No. Let's go. At least let's get into Doom Patrol. I think, other than Jason Todd, the most polarizing of all the episodes. Like... Honestly, the Doom Patrol. Like, if you guys don't know about the Doom Patrol, like, go look up stuff from, like, I would say even the comic stuff is, like, off the charts crazy. Like, it's, like, 60s crazy, like,
it's Golden Age comics.
Yeah, it's Golden Age. So, like, there's really out-the-wall shit that happens in those as matter of facts. So, like, that's just from where they come from. That's what, that team is made of. So, let's put it that way. But... go watch, like, Teen Titans, like, the original cartoon about is actually the best representation because it's almost, they're trying to actually copy that episode. Like, Doom Patrol in this is actually when Beast Boy meets the Doom Patrol in the Teen Titans. And I honestly, they do it way better in the cartoon, which is, it's easy to say that because it's a cartoon, they can do it anything they want, but it just... the juxtaposition of where they do it in this is just kind of weird.
Well, I mean,
it makes me feel bad.
They make it into Island of Dr. Monroe. that's
Dr.
what they
Moreau.
do.
Yeah.
That's what they do at the Doom Patrol, where the doctor is Dr. Monroe, and like he's essentially like, yeah, everybody has to stay here because I'm the only one that can take care of you, and I'm going to be abusive.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to
But wait, let's get into this. This is where they fucking explain this show Beast Boy. This is how Beast Boy gets into this. By the way, they've been dropping him, drip dropping him from like the 3rd episode onto Doom Patrol because he's like meets up and there's some chemistry between him and Raven. And it's super weird. It's like, oh hey, they're like she's playing pinball because you know everyone now they're into pinball. It's like
the 80s are back, man.
It's a fucking thing now. Like
the 80s are back. Like
you know what I can't wait for? Pocket pinball, because you know someone's gonna do it. Someone's gonna get it.
You know what's gonna happen is it's gonna be the original Game Boy.
Oh god.
And what's Game Gear?
Oh god.
That's gonna make a comeback. People are like, yo, I got this vintage. Look at the screen. It's like green and
it's black. Green and black. I can only play it. I can only play it in bright sunlight or not at all. Isn't it fucking cool? I'm so
and I need
cool.
I need 4 AA batteries, baby. I gotta carry around these cartridges. What are these cartridges?
Yeah,
they just don't make sense.
I gotta blow on them,
pictures
baby.
On it.
I gotta blow on them, baby. I'm fucking gangster. You know, I swear to God, I knew I kept my old games and my old cartridges for something. I knew they were worth something. But like,
it's gonna make a comeback.
I'm just saying, in terms of just like, they turned them into like this very capable team, like Robot Man and Elastigirl and Negative Man. Like these characters come off very powerful in the show, like the Teen Titans Go. I'm not Teen Titans Go. I'm sorry, I keep saying that, and that show kind of seeped into what I say all the time about it. But Teen Titans, the original cartoon, they portray these characters very powerful and like Machine Man's like running through tanks and everything. But in this, like they show he can barely walk, and he's like
well, it's. I mean, I think one thing they're forgetting is that superheroes are fantasy. They're power fantasy.
Yeah, when you see Robot Man in this, you go, yeah, he's not going anywhere.
You see everybody in it, and it's just like, oh, so Elastigirl isn't like Mr. Fantastic. She's just a giant blob. That's
if she can't control herself, she becomes like a giant blob basically because she can't. From what I'm getting, they showing like they're hinting that she can't control.
You muted yourself, cousin.
Oh, sorry. Or like she can't control her form, or at least like maintain it for very long. And I felt that was another way. And like they weren't even gonna touch Negative Man's power because that probably would just blow the entire budget of the entire show.
Well, yeah, I mean
it's spectacular.
They don't have enough money to do freaking Raven's power correct.
Oh, is this when we first get to see her powers? When what you call it? Oh
well,
my God,
see
Jonathan Kim. He's not even in it, and that's honestly, I'm gonna make a whole video about Cyborg as a character and where DC has decided to kind of take him. I really love Cyborg, and I love the fact that he is a he is a part of the Justice League, but he's a Teen Titan. He's a Teen Titan. He's always been a Teen Titan, and it kind of pains me that they erased his whole backstory from the Teen Titans. So like in this, there is no Cyborg. He's not in it. So I mean, I'd put it this way: like it again, like it's just like Dark Universe DC shit. And I'll put it this way, in terms of how DC works, they always make these very grand stories, and they can be multiverses. There is multiverses, so I'm not gonna. It feels DC Teen Titans Titan-esque.
Well, it's like what, but my issue is like they learned the wrong lessons. It's like, it's not that you can't have a dark story. It's not that you can't have people die. It's not that you can't have heroes necessarily doing bad things. But you know, one, you know, you need good guys. like straight up, like
you can't do that. I'm drinking, man. You can't do that.
Like no, but like it's like seriously, like that really is the difference.
You're gonna kill me.
And like there aren't any good guys in Titan show. I'm sorry.
Yo, I mean, I think Rachel has been a good person. Like she's not like
Rachel.
She's a girl. She's just a regular girl. She's an innocent.
She's an innocent, but like when push comes to shove, she's gonna like put some black goo in you and make you puke out your entire guts. Like, not good.
Yeah. You know what, Jonathan Kim, man, you're putting up a really good point, and I don't think we really got into it and up until this point because we're talking about Doom Patrol now. We got up to like the 4 episodes, and we really haven't really digested the other 2 characters that really got into it, and about Starfire. And honestly, for me, going into this, like I saw the pictures on the internet about Starfire, and I seen what they were saying about her and about like the dress and just kind of her whole like look, and like it was kind of weird because like when you look at her for a minute, it's like, wow, you know, that's a lot to take in. And then when you just start to look at it, it's like, damn, she's like fine as shit. And like,
well, it works.
And it not only does it work, but she's actually wearing legitimate Starfire clothes underneath this big fur coat, which I'm not really understanding. I think they keep putting her in like, they're putting these cold climates or places where you need coats, where I guess it doesn't seem awkward that she's fucking walking around in a giant like fur coat.
Well, I think they shot in probably Vancouver in Canada, so
yeah, I did see some hot air blowing out of mouths at some point, but like I'm just saying in terms of basically it's almost a accurate to comic book costume underneath a fucking fur coat, which I mean, I wish, like literally in this last episode, Jason Todd, you see her walking around with it without the coat, and she looks fantastic.
Good.
She looks fantastic. I mean, in the beginning of this, would I say, hey, would I rather have like a like more accurate to the comics, an orange person with long straight hair that floats around with green eyes? I wouldn't mind that at all. I would actually prefer that. But to have this in I wouldn't say I dislike it. She's fine as shit, and I mean, for what they're doing with her character, I guess it's not bad.
Well, I think the one thing is that she kind of gets the essence of Starfire, where she's a little innocent, a little sultry.
Nah, where's the innocent in any of this shit? The only thing you can really get out of it that she doesn't know what she is. But she didn't hesitate to. In Hawk and Dove, she melts this dude alive. He turns around and he goes, "Oh my, who are you?" And she roasts him alive, like Dracarys, like Dracarys, and fucking melting and. Fucking Game of Thrones. They like another thing about this. It is graphic. I guess they wanted to show that like they are like it's no fucking super around. Hardcore. It's no fucking super around. People die in our show. They like keep panning back to like the gore, just like to show it. Like that's the thing. Honestly, for me in like DC comics, particularly in like Batman comics, where this is like drawing a heavy like. Nod to, it's like you didn't show it. You knew what happened because they set it up to the point where you know what's gonna happen, but they didn't like when it happened. They might show it off screen, or they might show somebody just about to reach them in time and like pull back in horror because they couldn't make it.
Well, no, but
this
problem
is just like gratuitous.
No, the problem
and
really
it's not
is
good gore. It's just gory gore. Like it doesn't look believable, but it's like gore nonetheless.
No, the problem is not necessarily the gore, but how it's used. Because it's gratuitous violence being perpetrated by our heroes, the
Yeah,
people we're supposed
yeah,
to be rooted for.
yeah,
If the villains were doing this, this would be great. Because it's like, oh, our heroes need to stop these motherfuckers because they are
yeah.
melting people and snapping necks right now.
Yo, Starfire snap. Well, see, that's the thing.
Well,
The only thing Starfire would snap a neck if she had to. She's not. She's a warrior princess. She would
yeah,
absolutely kill anybody
but
she need to.
yeah, but it wouldn't be. Oh, okay. This guy's already eternally bleeding, and he told you everything that you needed to know, and then I'm gonna decide to snap your neck.
I'm gonna snap your neck anyway and lie. He's like, yo. She's like, yo. Tell me what I need to know. I'll help you. And he's like, snap. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
exactly. This is not a good person. That's what I'm saying.
What?
It's not like nobody's a good person. Like all of our heroes are good guys.
You can't
Like,
keep saying that when I'm drinking, man. It's vodka in that shit.
I'm sorry, but like that's I mean, if anything, that's the fundamental problem is that our heroes aren't good guys. And not in a good way where they're anti-heroes. Like you could see they're trying to make them into anti-heroes, but like these aren't the characters that you make anti-heroes out of.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not.
not. Well, these aren't the ones you. It's almost like saying, "Hey, we're gonna turn, I don't know,
Captain America into a Nazi?
Yeah, oh,
Anyway.
yeah." Or
Yeah.
like saying, like, what's her name from Wizard of Oz? If Dorothy was like turned into like a dominatrix bitch, like right in front of your eyes, it's like a complete flip around. It's like, oh, like why? Is she from space in this one? Like she doesn't know. She doesn't know, and
right
her,
now she doesn't know anything.
But see, that's the thing. Like again, like it doesn't make sense to me. Because if she,
No, it doesn't.
If she was an alien, she would fucking know she's not like them, or at least like something would slip from her.
Well, this is the other thing.
Her primal form or her real like nature, or I don't want to say nature, but like her real.
No, but you're absolutely right because like right now she's doing the amnesia trope, right?
Yeah, there's some tropes in this shit. It's a show, of course. You know, it's like a sitcom-y show, so they gotta have the tropes. But they're using the tropes absolutely wrong. Because like, all right, so if she's an alien, and who knows what they're doing here, but you know they already sort of fucking alien.
Well, they hinted to it in one of the episodes when she finds her safe house or whatever. That's
ruins and shit on the wall.
So like, you know. One, you know, everything she would be doing to pretending to be human is an act, just like you're saying. And like, you know, her natural language is what she should be reverting back to.
Well, think about it though, in terms of her people. If you guys don't know about Starfire that well, like if she like they don't even bring that up, which I thought would be a tropey thing to do. So I thought that was pretty impressive. They never said that, but like if she kisses somebody of a different language or whatever, she can learn that language completely. That's why they showed. That's why they definitely showed that she was speaking all those different languages to all them different people.
But I mean, I okay, fair enough.
I'm just saying,
I mean, I would assume if she lost her memories, she'd lose your memories, but okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
I'm just saying in terms of that, but in terms of like, yeah, she should like some words should slip like
Well, I mean, you think she'd just be like flaming all the time, but again, like I mean, maybe they're smart and like you know, fucking Simon is like mind warped her or something like that. But I'm right now I'm not giving the show that much credit because it's like.
All right.
You know,
I mean, what do you think of Raven in this shit?
I think the actress isn't bad. I think she's giving terrible direction.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree. I think she's just like Starfire for me personally. Like the more I watch it, the more I like. Okay, I'm okay with this if they did it right. Like this whole like Bride of Frankenstein like black eye goo and all that. Like they chose the wrong aesthetic for that. I feel.
I feel it's like they made her into an emo kid, right?
Yeah.
You know, at least her character design and
it kind
her
of feels
costume
that way in their costume.
They made her into an emo kid, which I understand why you would make that choice.
Did you see they added like the hoodie with the really deep point in the middle of it?
Yeah.
So which a little nod to the comics.
I get it, but again the way, you know, what makes Raven interesting is that, you know, she is an empath that's not allowed to feel. Like that, but that literally that's really her burden, and that's really her issue is that, you know, she feels everything that you're feeling and what she's feeling, but she has to bottle it up and be zen about it. It's not in an unhealthy way. She has to be real zen about it, because it's you know, if not, something horrible is going to happen. And I think
that's almost in comic book early on, because later on she does be able to control that's why she has the gem or whatever to focus her shit, and she's good on or after a long time. But in this show, she is a girl, a little girl. And honestly, the first introduction to her is fucking jarring when they shoot her fucking mother in the head.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's the same. It's, you know, it's the first example. Man. It's the first example of okay, we're gonna introduce a character, kill them off without you really even getting to know them in any way, and it's a decent way to shock an audience, but you know, it doesn't really teach us anything outside of, yeah, we're gonna show brain matter in this show. That's the only thing we really learn. So I mean, again, I like I said, I think just the world they constructed, you know, it doesn't play to any of the strengths of DC. It doesn't play to the strengths of the characters.
Yeah. But all right. You know what? Fuck it. Let's get to the episode tonight, because I wanted to fucking talk about this from the time you fucking talked to me, from the time I fucking thought about it, to fucking when the time I almost caught a stroke right there, trying to fucking think about what the fuck was going on in this episode. I liked it and hated it at the same fucking time. It's so fucking weird. And this is by far, for me, besides Doom Patrol, the most polarizing episode I've fucking seen. At the end of this episode, I was like, what am I watching? What am I watching? What am I continue to watch as it's happening? What am I watching? Honestly,
I kind of yelled out when he started shooting all the cops. And I
said, what am I watching? I said, what am I watching at that point? Not only did that point, but just saying, what the fuck? What? What? Yeah. And he's oh, yo, fuck it. The cops. Jason, this introduces Jason Todd. If you guys don't know, there's, a bunch of Robins. They even kind of make a couple of jokes about that. There's probably, I think, about, 5 Robins? Probably even more. Probably 7.
Well, there's Dick, there's Jason, Tim, Damian, Stephanie Brown, and...
Isn't the new black dude? Wasn't
he? He's not a Robin.
He was never a Robin?
He's not a Robin.
All right, so 5 maybe?
Yeah,
maybe
5.
I give or take. Let's say 5 or 6, give or take. But this is...
No, I think it's 5. It's a hard 5. I think it's 5.
All right, and this is the Robin who's
unless you want to count the Robin in the Dark Knight. What's her name?
The redhead chick.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
When I count her, then it's 6.
Yeah, I'll count her.
That's 6.
But this introduces the second Robin, Jason Todd, who is pretty much the most controversial, because this is the one they actually voted on. DC Comics back in the day voted to get. He was in a storyline where he had the chance to be killed, and they killed him. And people notoriously didn't like Jason Todd, so they actually killed him. in story, in canon, like the votes of the people killed Jason Todd the second Robin, and it crushed Batman and it changed the storyline for a long time. And there was actually a big change. Like people were kind of upset that he died, but like the fact of the matter is, this kind of showed like his whole backstory is he was very brash personality. That's the thing. That's what I liked about this episode. I felt they kind of did Jason Todd kind of right.
Well, I mean, like the story they want to tell, Jason Todd is the right character for him.
He's the right. With the vibe, he does this really well.
Well, I mean, it's because with the violence, with the nihilism, with the cynicism.
Yeah, it works perfectly for Jason Todd.
Because Jason Todd is a character that would take all the stuff Batman would train him, and then still lose to his anger and snap a guy's neck.
And he could have, but I don't think he ever did. But the thing is,
no, they will in the comics they never really show that because it's sort of a different time. But that's what the whole fucking Return of the Red Hood is all about. It's him coming back and going like, fuck Batman. No, I'm gonna kill these dudes because they deserve it, because I can, and because this whole, all right, we're gonna beat them up to teach them a lesson. They don't fucking learn, so I'm just gonna kill these dudes.
Yo, he said what was the line?
He said I'm like, you're trying to stop crime. I'm going to control it by being the new crime boss.
Oh well, see, we're talking about we're going past it. That's Red Hood Jason Todd. I'm trying to everyone doesn't know the lore like we do, and honestly, when I'm able to do some really cool stuff, I might do lore videos. But he's very much the loose cannon. And when he first met Batman, he was stealing the hubcaps off of the Batmobile. That's actually canon, and they actually used that as what they said it happens in this. So I was actually very impressed and very happy that they kept his canonical storyline. And his I don't know, I never imagined Jason Todd's bravado like that, but not as a kid, you know what I mean, when he was first Robin. But he was an orphan, he was stealing hubcaps, he was on the streets, so it's Batman saw something in him that Batman's words were, if he didn't train him, he'd be one of the people dressed up as something, trying to stop him from doing something, or trying to stop Batman, or trying to kill Batman, or trying to take over.
Be a new supervillain.
He'd be a new supervillain, and I always felt that was really, really telling. It's very powerful that Batman that. That's why I always felt the writing for Jason Todd, after his death, and just how they always written him or wrote him, was very poignant. It was he was a character. He was a fucking a wayward soul almost. You could teach him all the right stuff, but he's still kind of a dirty. He's a bad guy at heart. He is a villain. That I don't know. Is that
Batman,
what they're doing with him?
Now. But no, it's not what they're doing with it. Because now, it's even in the New 52, I think they really fucked it up, because the thing with Jason Todd is that, like you said, he was caught stealing the hubcaps from Batman. He, in the rules of DC Comics and DC lore, he's a criminal. He's a bad guy that Batman tried to reform and was...
Well, he was a kid.
Successful. Well, but, I mean, you get what I'm saying. He was still a bad guy. He was on a path to becoming a supervillain. And Batman intervenes, partly because he's a good guy, partly because he's I see potential in this kid. He could make something of himself. If I could direct him in the right way, I can better this kid's life and better everybody else's life. And that is a good, if you're a responsible, good adult, that's what you do when you see, fucking child. The tragedy with Jason Todd is, like you said, is when people voted to have him killed because people were annoyed by him, how he was written. He dies, and when he comes back, he's bitter about it. So it's like he didn't get the good ending. He got a horrible ending.
What did he say? He got the C ending. He's still alive. He comes back from the dead.
Well, yeah, but horribly. Like, it was a terrible way to come back. And then just so it's he's heartbroken, he's bitter, so he kind of reverts back to his instinctual response, which is not necessarily at this point, because they're like Batman still did enough, and Nightwing still did enough to try and, I wouldn't say reform him, but show him a better way that just before New 52 is, all right, I'm a bad guy, but I'm gonna do I'm gonna do bad things for the right reasons.
Yeah,
that's where his character sort of ended, and at the end, it was really, really cool because he was in the Batman and Robin series with Dick Grayson as Batman and Damian Wayne as Robin, and he's facing off with them, and it's they both know each other's tricks, and he's just kind of yeah, I have to show you the issue. It's crazy.
Oh, word.
But he's a redheaded stepchild.
Yeah,
he's not doing what he's supposed to do, but still using the same techniques that they all use.
But see, and that's the thing. In this episode, in Jason Todd the episode, I mean, it just he comes off authentic like that, but to a certain extent, it's what the fuck? The very end, yeah.
Where he's literally taking apart a room full of cops.
Because honestly, for me, when that scene first started, I felt okay. First off, I thought it was very weird that they were even worried about the cops. I thought they could just
leave,
use the grapple hook.
Batman, I was about to say, bat leave, disappear into the night, you always do.
Yeah, honestly, that's one thing I felt weird about half of this.
Because like I said, the violence is gratuitous. So how are we, the audience, supposed to feel about this? Is that these are regular it's not even it'd be one thing if these were dirty cops and you're okay, they deserve it. These are, as far as we know, these are regular cops that are here to investigate a fucking explosion.
Yeah,
for Dick's friend.
I think I think they actually, that's exactly why they were there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're on the same. They're all on the same side.
Yeah.
And so it's it's not even okay, I have to choke this cop out and put him to sleep because I'm gonna get arrested, but I need to get away. There was no need for any of that. And I guess part of it is supposed to show that, oh well, Jason Todd does have this mean and bad streak, but comparatively to everybody else,
it's jarring.
It's jarring, but not so much. The only difference is okay,
that
you're
shit
just
was jarring to me.
I mean, it's jarring to you.
He jump kicks the fucking lady cop in the fucking throat. I'm Jesus. And then he picks the dude's face up after he hits it against the ground to smash it down.
No, the worst part was when he broke that dude's back and then continued to hit him in the back of the head. That's what I'm saying. Where it's the brutality of the show is extreme, and in some ways unjustified for this cruelty. There's no reason for this, and it's not even if you're trying to get the point across of, okay, Jason Todd is kind of bad and has anger
issues. Do you love me now, Daddy? Do you love me? I was expecting him to cry as he's after he destroyed this man's future. I want him to cry over it and go, do you love me now? But that's what I is that level of damage going on in that scene. And up
Yeah,
until that
it's
point,
fucked up.
I loved the character.
No, like I thought it was, I
That
thought
came out
the
of
direction of it,
nowhere.
and yeah,
No,
it
and they
did.
played it like it was fine.
Like yeah, like
Dick
Robin,
goes
like
oh, I'm sure Batman doesn't approve of you kicking the ass
well,
out
it's
of
like well,
cops.
no, I mean, like part of my issue was like, yo, Dick, why did you not interfere?
Like he literally
Like
could have
just let it
fucking
happen.
like
I mean, like, granted, who knows what they were, you could write an excuse, but like, and I guess it was just an excuse to have. I mean, it was a good, it was a well choreographed fight scene. Like that
they
was
could
probably
have
the
done that
best.
with goons. He
They should have
destroys
done that
these.
with goons.
He destroys these cops. I think he killed
Yeah,
one. At
I
least
would not be
paralyzed it.
surprised.
At
Well, he
least
shot.
paralyzed him.
What? Well, fuck, he
He did
shot like
shot two
four
of
of them.
them. Yeah.
And
He
so
did.
I mean,
He did. He
it's
did do
like
that.
like yeah, like there are some serious issues with this shit because it's like, oh no, like you can't go back from that. Like
No, you can't.
you just killed like 4 cops and paralyzed another and crushed the spine of another. So
Like they're definitely gonna come look for you. Like Batman is now like a
well,
problem.
you should be on like yeah, Batman is now like you're on his list. Like you really fucked up if like I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like it's weird. It's very very weird. And the other thing on a
Absolutely.
small tangent.
I think Batman would have disowned these motherfuckers for doing the shit they're
Oh,
doing.
oh, for sure. Yeah, no, it's insane.
He would have
And
lost his fucking mind.
the other thing that I, I really don't like about the show, and it's probably the biggest thing I don't like about the show, are the character ages. Like the fact that
really, that's the thing that bothers you.
yeah,
I think the vilification of Batman is probably
no,
the worst, man. They make him to be
no,
like the Voldemort of the situation. Like they
no,
always bring him
I
up.
get that.
They talk about him and actually appreciate that. Like people bring up Batman, like he's not an elephant. He's not the elephant in the room, and no one says anything. But like his presence is always mentioned in like a damaging way. Like
Well, because this is supposed to, it's the Dark Knight Batman. This is still sort of the Christian Bale. Rachel, I'm so depressed and so sad, Batman.
oh god.
So I get that. My problem with the character ages is that Dick Grayson is 27 years old at least, and like you're damn near 30. Why are you like, you're too old to be acting like this?
Yo, and he's like kind of jealous that like he's Knight when he's not Robin anymore. Like I always thought that part was hilarious. Like he literally he goes, "Cause I'm fucking Robin and I fucking love it," and like he walks off by like kicking a fucking a cop on the way out. It was like so comical. I fucking loved it. It was so jarring, but I like laughed my ass off because it was like I was like, "Oh my fucking!" Did they like pull it off straight facely? And he's like, "Yeah," on the way out the door. I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" This was.
Well,
This was.
I mean,
I don't even know how to react to it. I don't know how to react when I see things like that with things that I'm familiar with. I don't.
Well, it is weird.
I
again,
don't know.
I don't get. I don't get it. I guess
this is what it's 8th episode, 7th episode in, 6th episode. We watched 6 episodes of this show. I do not know how to tell you to feel about this. I don't.
Yeah, no, that's the best way to
let's wrap this up with overviews, okay? My overview is it's like of this whole situation. It feels like it's in the I feel like they went, hey DC, like you guys are making these movies. We're gonna like follow you tonally, And they're like, okay, cool, we're gonna do Batman v Superman. Okay, so that's the kind of tone you guys are going for. Okay, we'll go down the line with that, and then everything kind of changed. So now this still feels like that, and like for me, it feels like there's a lot of violence for like show effect, like to oh yeah, take a look at this, like yak yak yak. We have like and the sad and funny part is like the character of Nightwing and Robin is always a very acrobatic character, like flips, kicks, jumps, and stuff like that. They don't do that really, and instead of doing like that, they go for this very harsh violence. I
Well,
mean,
it's
I don't
yeah, it's
mind harsh violence, and I only say harsh violence just to like it because you can't
well,
just say
it's
violence because
well,
it doesn't
it's
fit.
the choreography is similar to the Raid, like that. If you saw that
Oh
movie,
God.
no, it is though, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
brutal, it's fast, it's a lot of joint locks, a lot of fucking bone breaking and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's a lot of arm breaks and bone breaks. And I mean, those are the kind of things that Batman would do and Nightwing would do, but
Well, no, I think
like
it like again, like like to me, their biggest problem is that they didn't set up their villains. They're trying to keep their villains a mystery. They're trying to keep their sort of story a mystery,
well, they're trying
which
to
I
keep
think
the
is a mistake.
story yeah, and like what you said before, like it's like we all know the story except if you don't know about comics or anything about the backstory. We all know who the father is. I mean, I guess, like again, like you said, this feels like a show that was for like a network like
Hmm.
TBS or something like that, and like it feels like they're like trying to put their net out to a broad audience. So like I guess they really didn't think that they were only just gonna put the show on like
Yeah, the
their
streaming app.
streaming site. Because if I would say now they know it's on a streaming app, I would say if they're gonna make a second season of this, I think they can go full retard. But
Well, I mean, like to me,
they're not gonna
it
do it because
almost.
the budget is not gonna handle full retard on this.
Well, I mean, to me, full retard would be one like you'd have to go like hit girl on this. Not necessarily with like the violence, but like cast some fucking preteens and some kids. Um, because they're fucking kids. Like, you know,
I
like yeah, I know Teen Titans might be embarrassing, and there's it's a cartoon. And right now it's a silly comedy cartoon right now, but it's like no, like that's who these characters are. And yet, yes, they can grow up. Yes, they can become Titans. But if you're gonna do Titans, they know each other. They've been a group for
yeah
years.
yeah.
Like, like
That's
if you're
what
trying to
honestly.
do,
That's what got me because like it's not like Teen Titans. It said Titans because
yeah,
Titans is like
it's
the dudes who made it. I like to say, like that's
yeah,
the
no,
elite Teen Titans.
Titans essentially are after Justice League retires. That's what the Titans are. They are the
Really?
next top hero.
Well, oh, you mean
Yeah,
if they retired?
yeah. If they retire, like they are the next top heroes. They are the
Yeah.
guys that are like. You am I wrong?
Let me think.
Like, all right, if you project, 30 years in the future or whatever, just before like Batman Beyond,
Uh.
that timeline or whatever.
I think they
Um,
just evolve into Justice Leaguers because like that's what happens
but
with Cyborg. Like they just
well,
pick you up.
that's just new. But like, if the Titans wanted to, like they did in their issues, and granted it's their issues, but if they wanted to, yeah, we're just called the Titans now. We are the new fucking,
We are the
the
new
new old
wave.
group. We are the new wave. This is, we're fucking Titans.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, for example, granted, it's not in Elseworlds, but the one where they fucking when Tim Drake becomes Batman
Oh
and Superboy
yeah,
becomes Superman. Yeah, like
yeah,
they're called the fucking
yeah,
Titans. Like,
yeah. Yeah, the motherfucking
you know,
Titans.
and like I mean, and that's also what's interesting about the Titans, that a big part of their story is that they are
A group of
part
young
of
crazy motherfuckers.
they're a group of young sidekicks. Because let's just they're sidekicks, but that's like the good writers that understand the world also understand like a sidekick is one thing, is not something to be ashamed of, and what makes a sidekick work. It is literally just all right. The story of a sidekick is a student learning from a master,
Yeah.
and the growth from that. And like right now, it's that whole sort of, I wouldn't want to say wholesomeness, but just like decency is like completely missing from it.
Yeah,
Where it's
it's
like,
true. It's true. It's so true. Like it's just
like I
missing
said,
from the show. And honestly, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm glad they don't have Batman anywhere because like I feel like if he was in this, he'd be killing people
he'd be
too.
he'd have a Gatling gun that just walking around just murdering
That's
people.
how I
Like,
feel like they doing this because and like matter of fact too because like for this it's like they're killing people known so nonchalantly that like
yes, yeah.
it's just kind of shocking to me for certain characters. I mean, only in that team, only Starfire really kills people. Cyborg doesn't really kill people. I've never seen him say I'll never kill anybody, but he's never stated anything like that.
Well,
But like,
again, to me, it's all the context. Like in the heat of battle, if an enemy was like, okay, the only way I can stop them is I have to kill them, Starfire would kill him. If it
yeah,
was a guy who was injured and was just like, okay, could you please take me to the hospital? I'm bleeding inside, and she just snaps his neck, she won't do that. Like again, it's decent people. Like
yeah,
the decency is not existent in this fucking.
it's true. And I mean, again, like it's just it feels like a dark kind of universe kind of show. Beast Boy, Beast Boy is not all green. Honestly, for me, that's like another big pet peeve. He's not all green, and he only turns into a tiger. They try to explain it that like he's like his favorite animal is a tiger, and like
Well,
he
they
turns
don't
into what he's
explain.
comfortable with.
They don't really explain it. It just says,
They
"I
don't
just
explain
turned
it
into a
well.
tiger."
They don't explain it well.
No, they just say, "I just turned into a tiger because I can turn into a tiger." Like at this point, I'm not even sure if Beast Boy can even turn into other animals. Like just like how Raven's power has nothing to do with ravens.
Yeah, but it's never really had anything to do with ravens.
She turns into a giant raven, for fuck's sake. What do you mean she doesn't have
Yeah,
anything to
but
do
it's
with
not
raven?
like not like that's the only thing it can turn into. I mean, she does do the
No,
Raven
it's
stuff now, but like it's like
uh, uh, uh,
all
uh,
her powers aren't all fucking ravens. They don't
I'm
shoot
not
out
saying
ravens.
I'm not saying to shoot out Raven, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. God damn it!
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah,
But
like the way they did it was like black goo, very like
it is just
she
black.
almost
Like
looks
fucking,
possessed almost.
it's like that fucking Beyond Two Souls. That's what it looks like. Just like
Oh
goo,
yeah, necro
goo
goo.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I don't think they represent her power as well. The actor is growing on me. I kind of like her as an actress in this part, but like in terms of what they're doing with her, not
Yeah,
very,
it's
not
just
a
not
big.
very good.
No, it's just not very good. Um, I think the standout performance of this entire show is nobody really. I don't the villain at the time it has a presence to him. I do like him, but like no one really stands out to me because no one's really well represented. And like
Well,
at the last scene, she's like, "Oh, Starfire is on the phone with with Nightwing," and she goes, "Oh, like they did a mission, Jason Todd and them, and like, this is a podcast, guys. So if you don't want to watch the show, like this will help you basically understand the show. But in terms of like, we're not going beat by beat everything that happens in every episode. So like, we're just gonna go to parts of them." that we want to really talk about. We cherry pick. I don't know.
The wild shit.
Yeah, I mean, we've been live streaming this. Usually I wouldn't live stream this. I just have us talking for as long as we want, and then I would just throw it up. But I said, fuck it, we'll do the live stream. It's a cool Friday night thing to do, you know, us geeking out over fucking horrible. Well, no, I'm not gonna say horrible because I have to watch at least up to episode 11. I have to see them all.
I guess let me put it to like this. All right. Do you have to pay to access it? Yes. Well, hold on. But what you're really paying for is a giant library of comics and Young Justice.
I'll quickly do it. So if I get banned or whatever, or I get blocked, all these kind of comics, I'll do it fast so you can zip through. They'll even they're doing stuff like on like specific characters. I think almost to bolster what they're doing for Young Justice. They have Death in the Family with Jason Todd, and they almost do hand in hand stuff to try to show you the
marketing.
Watch this and this.
Yeah, the marketing for the show within the app. You know, they introduce a character and then they'll show you comics with that character.
Yeah,
so,
and it'd be like the real comics, like the real dope.
Yeah. So they. Did you mute yourself again?
I hope not.
So they know what they're doing in a sense where it's like, okay, we're organized in that much. It just honestly, it feels like whoever's editor in chief just kind of falling on the job right now.
Yeah, and I mean, at that point, I think we're gonna call it a stream or a podcast or whatever. I just want to say. Thank you so much, guys. I just hit 100 subscribers. That I can't explain to you how much that means to me. I've been doing this channel. I've had a channel for a long time, but I've only seriously started to try to make content for you guys for maybe like 2 years now. And just watching those old videos till having like where I'm at now, and like kind of just the fidelity and stuff for my show, it really means like the world that anybody comes and checks me out, and thank you so much for that. It really means a lot. I don't get paid off of this shit. They took away my fucking well, I'm still a sponsored video. I still have a YouTube channel. I'm still sponsored, but I can't gain the money that my channel makes until I get 1,000 subscribers. Now, I'm probably not gonna get 1,000 subscribers. I would love to, and please don't get that as don't subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. But you know, it just means a lot that 100 people come to check me out at any given time, and fuck around with me and my friends and my family, and it. Again, I'm not going to go on for too much longer, but thanks a lot, man. It really means a lot. Would you recommend anybody watch this, Bola? Well, so far, up to like the 6th episode we watched. I honestly,
to be honest, I don't know. Like if you really like if you are a big fan of DC, I would suggest it because it's DC content, and you know you get to see these characters in a different form, and you know somebody else you know has a different opinion and you know different take on the characters, and you know none of this is like you know it's not somebody has a different opinion or a different look or a different take.
Oh my
doesn't
God,
make any other ones.
They're actually showing the Robin's Awakening episode of Batman the Animated Series, which after this stream, I'm actually gonna go and watch.
Yeah, you should. It'll make you feel better.
I'm actually gonna go and watch that because that was actually kind of what this episode was kind of like.
Well, instead of wait, who the fuck is Tony Zuko Jr.?
Yeah, Tony Zuko Jr.
That's it, Tony Zuko Jr. Have a good weekend. If we don't see you, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Tony Zuko fucking Jr. Tony fucking Twist. Holy shit.
Honestly,